We do support at this moment about 7 languages, and it's pretty easy to add a language. So if you prefer to have your own language, we can discuss how you can participate, and if there is a language that we do not support, there is always a possibility to add it. We will focus on map view today, but there are several different dashboards focusing on different use cases. We do send notifications in form of SMS, email notifications, and push notification to mobile devices. At this moment, we have Android and iOS app that you can download on Android Store or Apple Store. And if you have devices with your own connectivity, you can benefit from 30 days free trial. You just register device, enter ID, and basically that's it. We try to do the onboarding process as smooth as possible. If you use your own connectivity, just please always remember to set up the callbacks to us so we receive the messages. And now let's start to the tracing. Let's just check the chat window if everything is fine. I hope yes. So back to the presentation. So with Sigfox devices at this moment there are at least 4 different ways how the specific device can be located. The first, oldest one is Sigfox Atlas. Sigfox Atlas works based on a signal strength from all antennas, and the location is calculated using the triangulation method. So, for example, the device get a signal from 3 sources, then the latitude, longitude is calculated based on the signal strength from these 3 sources. This is like fast, it's reliable. The only issue is that it's not precise, obviously. Because especially if you get a signal only from one source, then the deviation could be almost like 5 kilometers. Usually it's less, but you have to count that it's definitely not precise location. But for some use cases, it's just perfect. We have customers that use it for tracing of tracks or big cars, trains, parcels, and for many use cases, you don't have to know the specific point in the map. And if you know that the parcel or the track is currently in Prague or in different city, that's all you need. It's very cheap, it's fast, it's reliable. You just have to understand the limits that it has. Then I will skip Wi-Fi and go to GPS now. There are many locators equipped with GPS. GPS offer very precise location. The issue is that from energy perspective, it's like very it's consuming lots of energy. So if you expect to have a standalone device that will work months, you need a huge battery, or you somehow have to connect it to the energy source. So for some use cases, it's fine, but but you have to count that you have to charge the battery very often. And then you have 2 quite new options using Wi-Fi location. There are like 2 possibilities how you can benefit from it. One is using a Sigfox Atlas Wi-Fi option that has to be linked to your Sigfox contract. So if you have your own Sigfox connectivity, or if you want to buy a Sigfox contract, just be sure that for this case there is an option Atlas Wi-Fi, and it costs you something, so it's not free. The other option is that you just use devices that send MAC addresses of the routers, and we will do the translation using a Google. How it works is that the tracker sniffs the MAC address of the router, the unique ID, and if this unique ID is in a Atlas database or in a Google database, then we will translate it to latitude, longitude, and voila, you have a very precise location. With this technology, the precision could be less than 5 meters easily. So it's very precise and very energy efficient way. The only issue is that, or maybe several issues that is good to know and good to understand. That the limit number one is that the device needs some time to sniff these MAC addresses. So if you drive fast along the street, then maybe the device has no time to sniff MAC address, or it's maybe too far from the routers. You know, it's from home that the Wi-Fi signal is getting weaker for the further you get from the router, right? So these are the pros and cons. So we have to be in proximity of the router, and devise some time to sniff addresses. So these are like 4 options. If you look at the devices that are good for tracing, we do support all devices from simple hardware, and many of them has this possibility. Like all devices work with Sigfox Atlas. Some devices are equipped with Wi-Fi module, and in such case, you can use Wi-Fi checking, which gives you more precise position. And we also support many other checkers from manufacturers from around the world. You can later you can click on the link, go to our website, and see all these options. And we regularly add new and new devices that you can use. Every device has its pros and cons. Some devices are bigger with bigger batteries, so are more bulky, more heavier, but they will last longer. Or some of them are like almost kind of secret devices, very small, in size of credit card, for example. Some of them you can charge some of them or change the battery. So it really depends on your use case. We always suggest to look carefully at the specification and check the details and find device that really match the requirements that you have for your project. Once you register device in IOFrog and you want to use it for tracking, there is one thing you have to understand, is that all these functionalities are based around how this device is set. And one important option is the location source. So based on the use case and based on the technology you want to use for the tracking, always check what is the location preference in the device settings, because all other functionalities are based on these settings. So for example, if you have device that is equipped with Wi-Fi checking, but also can provide location from Atlas, you should choose which one you prefer. Otherwise, you may be disappointed that you think that your device is not at the right location or not at enough precise location. But maybe it's just due to bad settings here. So just check what is your preference. There is an option we call best available. Best available option provides you a possibility to get best from both worlds. So it means that if we get a data from device based on precise location, which means a Wi-Fi or GPS, then we will show you this specific location. But maybe from some reason, device was not able to sniff Wi-Fi address or send you a GPS location. And in such case, we will show you the location based on the atlas, which is not precise, but it's better than to have no location at that time. So just this is about some settings. Then, okay, I will check what we have here. Sounds fine. I'm checking the chat. Okay, some questions that I will try to answer later, but hopefully everything works fine. So let's switch to application. So this is a main dashboard. Maybe some of you are already familiar with. You can categorize your devices for your orientation and for management, especially if you have more devices like I have in this demo account. So I put few devices into category I called trackers. So I chosen this category, and here you see that for every device I see the current position. So I see like this device is somewhere. Where's the country?
Sorry, David, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Excuse me. We cannot unfortunately see your screen right now. We cannot see only the presentation. Is there a chance you can reload it?
Give me a second. I will. It was in a full screen mode, so maybe this was the reason. Do you see it now?
No, unfortunately, we can see only the presentation.
The presentation?
The overview of location sources slide.
With the tracing dashboard?
No.
No.
Just
what slide do you see? Because I'm on slide 8, tracing dashboard now.
Yeah, right now we can see welcome to the webinar slide. So maybe you can open it again.
Okay, maybe I will close the... Is it better now? Do you see the... You should see IOFrog application now. Or not?
Sorry, not now.
Not now. Too many buttons.
Try to navigate. Yes, now we can see your screen. And please, audience, if you can confirm that you see the screen that David is sharing right now, that would be amazing. Great. Okay,
so
thank you.
See, yeah, do you see IOFrog now?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. So, so here you see that. Okay, this was in. This is in Croatia, and here we have other devices. This one in Czech Republic. This one is in Czech Republic as well. We may have one in. Yeah, this one is in Kuala Lumpur now. So. Like this very simple dashboard give you like super fast and simple overview where are your devices at this moment, and you see how old is this information. So you see this information is 38 minutes ago. This one is 16 minutes ago. These are probably all because the platform expired, which is also a reality. Here we have a device in Madrid airport currently. So that's just interesting view. But especially if you are focused on a tracing, I suggest to try this dedicated tracing dashboard. I'm going to switch there right now. Yeah. So here you have the world map, and on this map you see all these devices and where what is the current position of each device. On the right side, you see the list of devices in my category that I call trackers and that I mentioned before. And we also use a Google service which translate location to a human readable address. So you see the address in a local language where this device is exactly. What we also see here are the colors. At this moment, we see these small bars, the vertical bars. You see gray, you see blue. There was a green like a few minutes ago, but it's not here, and it means like how old is the movement from this device. If it's currently active, or if it's recently active, which means older than 1 hour, or inactive, which means that there was no movement in 4 hours. So just very quickly, you can just scan with your eyes what devices are currently moving, or what are stationary, and what are not moving at all. Same in the map, these blue devices, you see the blue markers here. So same information here in the map, same information in table view. And now you can click on a device. So I will choose this Volkswagen Polo that is probably currently somewhere in Croatia. And yeah, there's no, it's just too slow. It's no moving. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, just slow connection. So yeah, I chosen Esperante device in Malaysia, and now in a real life, these are real devices that are used by other customers that permitted us to share them and to show in this demo. So you see like how this device is moving. This is a Wi-Fi checker. So you see like very dense data. I will zoom in a little bit. So these dots connected with the arrows are showing us the trajectory, how this device is moving. If we go to legend, we see that these dark yellow dots means that this signal is based on GPS currently. On the right side, we'll see we have something interesting. We have the position. So no interesting data. I will try to pick a different one. It's moving in Hong Kong. It's still moving, but this is, I wanted to show some interesting functionality. Let me try this one. Oh, this is okay. One interesting feature here, that this device entered defined geolocation. It's called test area, and it's still in this test area. So this is one information you get here, is that once it enters, we can either send you a notification that device entered or left location that you specified, or you can see it in this device history. So again, this tracker is using GPS location. You see that these yellow dots are matching the legend, and you see that this is still in this area. I'm trying to show you what happens if device is not moving for some time, because in such case we can if device is not moving, we calculate the time, how much time is stationary and it's not moving. So then we can show you like device is staying 3 hours at this human readable address. So this is something that you can get from this dashboard. And of course, you can filter devices. You can switch that you only want to see active or more recent. You can choose devices that are currently at your place. You can go to the details. You can choose different devices based on the category. Or you can, if you want to analyze the data, there are 3 possibilities. One possibility is that you can export the data manually to CSV file. So if we go to history, right here we have a tab data. You can choose an actions you are interested in. So maybe only when device is moving, when it stops, or information. And then you choose data fields that you are interested in. Maybe you choose just let's try. We will choose action and latitude, longitude, and quality of the signal. And here we go. You see that this device was sending these messages with latitude, longitude. There was no signal quality indicator. You can page, and you can export all the data, and then you can analyze it errors. Or second option, how to get data out from the system, is to set up, we call it forward. In some platforms you find it under the name like a webhook. So you set up the forwarding service. You choose the URL of your server. You choose what parameters you want to export, and then you can then the server will send every message. Once we receive it, we will resend it to your system, and then you can process it maybe using BI tools, and so you can analyze the positions or other parameters like a temperature, for example. So it's may be very useful for cold chain monitoring. Maybe you have the specific application for cold chain monitoring, but you are not familiar with IoT. So you can use IOFrog. We can process the data. You can do all the administration of devices, manage connectivity, manage all the settings, and as the output will be data that we will send to your system. So then you have already processed data in your application, in your system, and you can do with your data whatever you want to do. So this is the second option. The third option is to use API, and you can get the data from our server to your server, just calling standard standard requests using get, post, etc., and then process it on your side as well. So you have these free options how to get data out from the platform, including the tracing data. Another option that you have is that maybe you want to share the data with somebody who has no account in IOFrog, or you want to just share it publicly. In such case, you can, under your profile, you can set up something that we call the public channel. I already created, just before this presentation, I created a public channel I called tracing, and it will give you a URL, and with whoever you share this URL, this person will be able to click on it and see devices without any access to IOFrog. It looks like this. You see that this is a URL I showed you before. And here you see devices I added to this public channel. So it's completely up to you. You have full control over it. And almost same information, just you click on a device. Here you see legend. You can choose a different time scale. And here you see how this device was recently moving. So anybody with this address can just come to this site and check, like, where is your device? It doesn't matter if it's a car or person, etc. This public dashboard is not useful for tracing, but it could be used for monitoring of temperatures, because you have possibility to see the charts here. If device is sending any data, see the full history, generate information, etc. So battery level is 0. So this is about public dashboard. And one last topic I wanted to demonstrate, or at least talk about, is that maybe you want to start your own business and providing IoT services to your clients, and you don't have the resources to develop your own platform, or you are not the IT company, you don't have enough technical experience to do so. So for these kind of customers, we offer wide labeling options, which means that we will provide a solution that will be running under your domain, with your logo, with your colors, and maybe with your business logic. So we can very quickly set up such a solution for you, and then you can resell the tracing services to your end customers. What this option allows you is that we can set the prices and the structure of the products based on your requirements, and link it to your payment gateway. So from big picture, your end customer will pay to you money through the platform. The money goes to your account, and then at the end of the month, we will charge you based on an invoice only for the number of devices that are newly connected to the platform. So there will be a specific webinar. Natalia will send you the date. I'm not sure if it's like next week or maybe maybe later. But there's a link in the presentation. So if you're interested, we will talk about it during next webinar. And I think we covered most of the topics I wanted to mention. So now let me switch to chat window. Where is it? Here. Okay. And I will try to scan all the questions we have here. So the first question I see here is how to get precise Atlas Wi-Fi position less than 5 meters, the logistic warehouse one less than 2 meters. For Atlas Wi-Fi, less than 2 meters, I think it's too demanding. There's one option that at the moment I didn't. That leads me to one feature I didn't talk about. I mentioned that the translation between MAC addresses and location is done either using a Sigfox service or using a Google service that we utilize. If this router, if the MAC address is not stored in one of these sources, then the MAC address cannot be translated to latitude and longitude. But we added a new feature recently that, for example, in the warehouse, you can install your own routers that maybe they are not even registered by these two services. But if you send us a MAC addresses, then we store them locally. We call it white labeled MAC addresses. And then when the device sends a message including this MAC address, we will first look at our local database. And if it's there, then we will send you the location of this router. And it doesn't have to be just one, but maybe your device sniffed 2, 3 routers. So in such case, we will do a triangulation, and based on the location of these routers that you share with us, we will calculate the precise position. But maybe in some cases, it's still not enough, and then you will need to use something that Simple Hardware calls Wi-Fi precise, and this is probably the solution that you might use for warehouses. I suggest you to go to Simple Hardware website and go to and find documentation for the mode that is called Wi-Fi precise. It doesn't send MAC addresses, but it sends like the fingerprint based on RSSI strength on the signal from these devices. So it works a little bit differently, but please check and maybe then it's better to talk about it with the people from Simple Hardware directly. I'm sure they will provide you a very good answer. The next question from Charles, highlighting the concept of geolocation, but only by using GPS. What is the smallest area that can be defined? Like 5 meters, it is 5 meters squares. Look, for GPS checkers, like it depends how precise is this GPS sensor. So if you use devices with best of class GPS, then it's gonna be like precise. So the precision is not linked to our solution or to Sigfox at all. It's linked like to GPS technology itself, and it really differs on what device you use and how good is their chip and how good is the signal. So there are like many factors. I would say that the result you may expect are same like you can expect from car navigation, for example, that is equipped with GPS. With Wi-Fi, this is always, tricky. The Wi-Fi location is perfect if you are indoor because there is no GPS signal. So it's like super interesting, but the Wi-Fi signal is difficult to predict how it behaves between the walls and in the distance. It's so and it's moving like it's not so stable. So it's difficult. So if you need a like very precise position, like for the warehouses I mentioned before, check the Wi-Fi precision mode. But this one is super specific. For general use cases, I wouldn't expect such a high precision. Next question. Is it possible, for example, to get alarms, email, SMS only if device is sending messages during certain hours? A very good question. For this moment, we don't have such option. In next release, we will add more and more options. We call it notification rule builder, that using different parameters, you can build your own rules. Probably we will add a time range as well. At this moment, unfortunately, you cannot set the alarms in such a way. But definitely, we will add in later releases. When you expect next release? Okay, the next release hopefully end of May, if something is goes right. And this is IT world, so we try to do as much testing as possible. We are at this moment somewhere in the middle. Most of the functionalities are already there, but definitely needs lots of testing and finalization. So end of May is, I think, realistic. But what we do is we usually upgrade and fix, or do some small things almost every week. Almost every week there is something better or new. But the bigger release that will be by the way, this may be good to mention that the next big release will be not focused just on this notification builder, but the main feature will be that we will enable working with thousands of devices that are grouped in a hierarchy with proper user access roles. You will be able to set a specific permission per specific user, and it will also give us option to do some batch processing. So at this moment in the platform, I know that it requires maybe more clicking when you want to add a new device to the category, or add it to public dashboard. So the next release will be focused like how to efficiently work with large number of devices. This is gonna be a big topic for next release. Yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions?
Hello, David.
Good question from Gabriel. In case the question is, in case of multiple clients, is it possible to have one admin account but multiple user accounts where each client can check only his devices? It's already possible now, but maybe it's not like super convenient. Like at this moment, what you can do is that for your clients, you register all devices to your account and put them into specific category, and maybe one category per one client. This is how our clients or partners are using it. And then you say, okay, for this user, I will share these devices. For another user, I will share these devices. So you can ensure that just a specific group of devices will be shared with specific people. This is the way how to do it now. In the next release, you will be able to define a hierarchy and link specific users to specific node in the hierarchy. And one device will be only in one node. So we will have like you can create like a tree, and you can create like a tree, and then you can manage all devices in such a tree. So if another question, if only receive Sigfox coordinates, no Wi-Fi. If only receive Sigfox, no Wi-Fi. What could be wrong? Okay, I suggest, Harold, if you have such issue, please send an email to support@iofrog.com with the device ID, and we will check it for you to make sure that it's well set up. There could be like several different reasons. For sure, I would check. First, we should check it in the backend if device is really sniffing MAC addresses. So the first you always do is first to check the payload. If the payload that the device sends to us contain the MAC address, and then we will go with next steps. Maybe the location source that I mentioned in the presentation is not set up properly, or there could be like a different issue. But the first thing to check is, does payload contain MAC address? So this is what I suggest to do as in the first step. If you have such an issue, please, again, send us device ID, and we will check it. Any other question? Somebody's writing. Hey, well, welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much for the feedback. Like in any case, if you get the question later, just please drop me an email anytime. I think that the contact on me is in the slides that you will be able to download. So yeah, you are welcome. If you have any issue, any idea how to improve it, we are open. We are still small, young, fast-growing company, listening to our customers and end users and trying to do the best. So yeah, thank you very much. So
thank you, David.
If there are no other questions,
David, could you hear me?
Please go ahead. Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you to the audience for participating in the webinar. And I just wanted to mention that all the recordings and slides will be available like hour after the webinar. So I will also include to the follow-up email the contact of David and all the necessary emails, so you can contact him as soon as you want. And please feel free to register for the upcoming webinars. And the next webinar will be next Thursday, Legionella solution. And with the iOfRock, we will also include the follow-up webinars to the follow-up email. Thank you.
Thank you for Wrapup. Thank you for everybody for joining us. I hope that it was useful for you. And contact us anytime. So thank you again. Bye.